What's good, YouTube? This the biggest boss who paid the cost, Big Boss SS4L. Just wanted to drop a short video explaining my love for the Elder Scrolls Online. The Elder Scrolls Online is a massively multiplayer online game releasing back in 2004 on PC and consoles in 2015. Eso takes place in Tamriel a few hundred years before Skyrim, Oblivion, and Morrowind. Essentially, you start by choosing the typical Elder Scroll races: your Nords, your Red Guards, Bretons, Imperials, your Dark Elves, High Elves, Wood Elves, your Orcs, plus your bestial races, your Khajiits, and your Argonians. Also, once you choose your race, next you get to choose one of six classes: your Dragon Knight, Sorcerer, Nightblade, Templar, Warden, Necromancer, and from there, the game begins. Now, I began playing ESO a little late. I actually started back in 2017 on console. I wasn't super familiar with the MMO genre outside of playing Final Fantasy 14. What originally drew me in was the game's lore. I've been a huge Skyrim and Oblivion fan since day one, so I figured revisiting this world would be just as exciting. So I just wanted to touch on a couple things as far as the gameplay of ESO, because what's the point in having a video bragging about how much I'm in love with the game without talking about essentially the gameplay? So I'm just going to do a quick little couple reasons that kind of drew me into the game. So one of my favorite things and one of the things I really look for in the game is character customization. I can't really talk about that enough. You know, if I make a character and I build all this time and maybe money into this character, I want this character to look better than everybody else. I want to, or at least be distinguishable from everybody else's character. So I feel like ESO has one of the better systems as far as the skills. Also, as far as your character customization, focusing more on the appearance of your characters. I mean, there's so many different skills for all the different classes. You know, some of them are locked behind races, some of your passives, and some of them are actually locked down based on what your role is, whether you're a healer, a damage dealer, or a tank as well. Also, the world of ESO. ESO has a huge open world map divided into different zones, which all have their own story. Which I mean, it equates to ESO having a ton of content and it's always getting updated. These guys are constantly adding new stuff, you know, constantly having little events where you get double XP, you earn more gold, rewards, so on and so forth. But the open world, it invites you to explore and doesn't really penalize. You know how sometimes you can play a game and if you're a low level and you go to a higher level area, you know, you kind of get penalized just for kind of wanting to see what the world looks like. ESO doesn't really do that. You can honestly, you can start at one zone, get tired of that zone, travel somewhere across the world that you may have never been, and it scales to your level, so you're never really overpowered. Now, there are things in the open world that you may run into that aren't really designed for you to take on by yourself. You know, your delves, your group dungeons, a lot of the world bosses. But you know, once you get to a certain level, you'll be able to tackle a lot of that content by yourself. So that's one of the bigger things. You know, I was able to just kind of run around and see all the different landscapes and, you know, some of the old familiar zones and worlds and cities from like Skyrim and Oblivion, and kind of see what they looked like before those games' actual timelines. So I really kind of enjoyed that. Now, last but not least, I'm a huge PvP fan. I'll be honest, I don't really play a lot of PvP in other MMOs. SO PvP, I love it. It is probably one of the better modes. Granted, they have more than one. So they have essentially your battlegrounds, which kind of goes into different three modes, three different battleground modes, which they're typically based off 4v4v4. So it's a total of 12 players divided into teams of four. And they have three different modes. You know, you have your basic team deathmatch. You know, you go around, whoever get the most kills at the end ultimately wins. You also have Chaos Ball, which essentially there's a random spear that generates, and the three teams, whoever can hold that ball the longest, ultimately wins that mode. And then they also have what essentially is domination, kind of capture the flag or hold the flag mode, which are all, you know, different fun. You know, you'll run into a lot of different classes. What I like about it is I feel like it makes me better at the game. It gives me the opportunity to look at different characters, different skills, different builds, and kind of figure out, you know, what I may need to do with my build, or maybe some stuff I want to change, or if, you know, if I want to play a different class at all. So I definitely like the PvP. Now, also, they have a couple huge PvP modes. They look like war zones, which I do kind of dabble in every so often. You know, you'll see sometimes I'll jump into there, but those are called Cyrodiil and the Imperial City. which are very huge open world PvP zones where you battle other factions based off your chosen factions. In which case, there's three different factions that you choose to start off with. So whichever one you go into those Cyrodiil with, that's who you're going to be grouped up with. And the goal is to essentially take over that map, collect the Elder Scrolls, and ultimately become Emperor, which I'll be honest, I've never become Emperor, but we start slow and we'll get there eventually. So yeah, those are just a couple reasons. I truly enjoy the Elder Scrolls Online. Like I said, I started in 2017. Been playing in 2023, and I'm probably going to keep playing till they shut down the servers. Especially they keep adding this amazing content. I know they're going to be adding the class, a lot of different zones. If you look at the map now, you can see it's a lot of zones that haven't been filled in, which means essentially they're going to be adding a lot more content to the game, which you can't complain with. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap. Like I said, I just wanted this to be a short little video. So thanks guys for watching the video. Like, share, leave a comment. All feedback is definitely appreciated. Also, if you're an Elder Scrolls Online player and looking for more players to team up with, feel free to add me on Xbox. My gamer tag is Big Boss SS4L, just like my YouTube name. I'm on the North American servers. Feel free to add me anytime. So I definitely look forward to playing with new players. So thanks for watching my video, guys. Love.